Bruce Chinchilla.
What is this? Bruce. What's happening?
Bruce.
It's funny that Bruce has become like part of our
Vernacular.
like vernacular because you're saved in my phone as Bruce.
I know, which is so
Yeah.
funny. Dude, I haven't had
Uh
my beard this long and for like ages,
I was just
and
telling
it
you, you
is
look like a
so weird,
hairy,
dude.
hairy guy.
It's crazy.
Should shape it up like Vosh does.
Well, I want to do that shit the Arab guys do where they, instead of
Dye
brushing
it
it
red.
back, no, they like brush it out. It like
What's
makes
that
the
about though?
beard
Can you
bushy.
shed some light on why like a lot of Arab, like Muslim guys like dye
Well, I
their shit
know the
red?
guys who who dye their shit red is usually, from my understanding, it was Matawa, which is like a roaming. Imagine like a roaming enemy priest, except they're a Muslim that can like throw the book at you for if you're like sinning and shit.
Okay.
It's crazy.
So they're like a high level
Yeah,
Muslim.
it'd be like if priests around your town wandered around and could get you in trouble for
Oh,
like your
really?
hair was too long or something. Yeah.
Well, the odd thing is that I used to see a lot of guys that did that in New York, and I was never sure what
Well,
because
that's probably
that
not Matawa. That's probably like a fashion.
well, because
I'm
that seems
assuming it's
crazy to me because
fashion.
you would just be walking through the streets and there would just be sin everywhere. Like I don't know what could you even
That's why
do. There's like
I think that might have been a fashion choice. But I know in Saudi, unless I'm just making this up in my head, but I do remember stories of like kids getting dragged away at the mall and having their head shaved because their hair was too long.
my God,
Yeah.
kind of
Let me
scary.
look up Matawa just to make sure I'm not talking out my ass.
Well, do you want me to just pop quiz you and look up why do
I mean, check that
some
too. Yeah, religious police in Saudi Arabia whose duty is to ensure strict adherence to established codes of conduct.
maybe I'm like not maybe it's not Muslim. Here, ever wondered why some Muslims have a red beard? Um, is this real? It says I don't know if this is true, but it says narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, Jews and Christians do not dye their hair, so you should do the opposite of what they do. There's no way that's the reason.
Dude, religions, when you boil them down, are so funny because Jews are like, we can outsmart God. Now I'm finding out that Islam is like, just do the opposite of what they do. And
Interesting.
then,
Wait.
what the heck,
Oh.
dude?
Okay, this is okay, here's a different reason. This one says it is sunnah. I don't know what that word means. To dye your beard when and hair. Wait, what? Oh, beard and hair when they turn white. But one must avoid black. Apparently, you're not allowed to dye your hair black. It turns red because of henna. Some henna can
Oh,
be more
henna.
darkish. But it says
Interesting.
it is sunnah to dye your beard. Is that like a certain branch of
Sunna, I don't know. Oh, wait, you mean, I know there's Sunnis and Shias.
Yeah, maybe that's like a variation of the word
Is
Sunni.
it Sunni?
As spelled Sunna in this
Uh,
particular
Dude, I
thing.
gotta get curtains, bro. My face is so blown the fuck out with like light.
Oh,
I feel
wait,
like
I
I
have
look
one more
beautiful right
interesting thing
now.
here. It says,
Hit me.
because of this following hadith. I don't know what any of these words mean. Uh, this person's name, Jabir ibn Abdullah, reported that Abu Kuhafa was brought on the day of the conquest of Makkah, and his head and beard were white like thagama, which is a plant whose flowers and fruit are white. The messenger of Allah said, change this with something, but avoid black. So I guess there's a scripture related to it. I still don't truly understand why someone would go red instead of white. Oh my God,
What?
kitty mode.
Oh, this big beefy
It's a
beast.
giant
He's so
fat
big
cat.
now, dude.
Anyway, maybe if we have any
Do we have
Muslim
any Arab
listeners,
or
any
religious
Arab or
leaders
Muslim, yeah,
contact us?
listening, please enlighten us. I'm actually curious what that was about. I never knew the answer, and I feel like I Googled it, and I still don't really have a clear understanding of why that's a thing. But I'm curious to know the answer.
Dude, my mom was saying that you could pass as Arab, and I didn't believe it. But looking at you now, I'm kind of like, I feel like you could maybe
Well, I think I've
if you
mentioned this
didn't have
on
the glasses.
I'll mention this on podcasts. Or I think I have mentioned this on podcasts before, but my grandfather was he was Israeli, but Israel didn't exist when he was born. He was actually born in Iraq to Turkish parents. And I know you're going to criticize me for this because I just already can hear your voice saying it, but I did one of those like 23andMe things recently because Angie got one and she ordered one for me too. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of curious. And I know it's just going to say 100% Jewish, but like my dad's side is Eastern European Jewish and my mom's side is Middle Eastern Jewish. So like there might be some, I might be like 10% African or some shit.
Dude,
I
that
don't
would
know.
be
There
based.
could be, I mean, actually, not even memeing. It's possible because like, uh, I mean, yeah, like Jews were in Egypt, like that whole side of the family. My dad's side is like Russian and Polish, but my mom's side is a complete mystery to me. So who knows?
Well, you guys were originally black, weren't you? Isn't that like a
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jews were the original black people. No,
I don't
I'm
even
just
understand
no.
like
It's funny that black people say the opposite. They say that black people were the original Jews, but I don't think Jews believe the opposite, that they were the
no, Jews were
original
the
black
original
people.
black people, dude. No, bro, what was that whole like because Kanye mentioned that once, and then like Black Twitter was going off like it's true, like we were Jews originally, and I'm
That
like,
yeah, that's a Nation of Islam belief. That's like the
wait, that's a Muslim belief?
N
Are you
no,
saying
Na
the
Nation of Islam is not Muslim. That's Nation of Islam is Black Israelite,
Oh,
like
okay,
Louis
okay, because I was
Farrakhan.
like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, the Nation of Islam, like the name, I think itself is somewhat controversial because it bears very little resemblance to actual Islam,
Yeah.
and it's mostly just anti-Semitic and anti-white and like Yakubian,
Bro,
like
Yakub is
that's what
fresh
it
as hell,
is.
dude.
The craziest part, I don't think we talked about this on podcast, but I was in the Discord and this was weeks ago now, but I completely forgot to bring it up. But the craziest part was that I was down a little bit of a Wikipedia rabbit hole reading about Yakub, and the craziest thing is that like there is some evidence pointing to the possibility of its truth, that
Bro,
story.
what?
Yes, like I
How?
looked it up expecting it to be like a Scientology,
Bro,
like we are all Thetans, like some completely ludicrous. But when you look up Yakub, there are actual like historical texts that suggest like th this may have been based on some like
that this evil black scientist made white people?
that basically they're like have to find it. Hang on a sec. I
Dude, this
swear
is
like
breaking news on Cold Cuts.
I
Yakub
found it
is
and it
real, dude.
blew my mind. Like I mean obviously it's hilarious to think that this guy had like a giant head, but that's literally part of it. Like here it says okay,
Are
hang
you on
on.
Wikipedia?
I'm on Wikipedia because I feel like that's where I saw it. Okay. Okay, this guy Ernest Allen says who's a historian says the Yakub story could conceivably have been influenced by a real historical event during the struggle between Muslims and Christians for control of Spain. Muslim leader Abu Yusuf Yakub, which is spelled with a Q, defeated the Franks at the Battle of Alarcos in 1195. After the battle, 400,000 European prisoners of war were taken to Morocco to labor on his building projects, Yakub's building projects. They were then set free and allowed to form a valley settlement located somewhere between the Fez and Marrakesh. On his deathbed, Yakub lamented his decision to allow these Shibanis, as they came to be called, to form an enclave on Moroccan soil, thereby posing a potential threat to the stability of the Moorish Empire. So he actually did, and there's more that goes in that he actually, this leader who did exist, who was a black guy with a big head, actually captured several like light skin prisoners of war in Europe, and they formed a little like compound and may have been some of the first like light skinned people as we know them
What
today.
the hell?
Isn't that insane? I mean, this is speculation, but it's like I thought that that story was like a meme because it's so ludicrous.
This
So when
is
I looked it up, there's
insane.
actual some historical context to suggest that something like that did happen. I mean, you do know
Jews
that at least that like
Jews were
all
an
of
artificial race created by interbreeding and dependent on tricks and lies
Wait, where do you see that?
under the Yakub and Jacob. Oh, that the idea that I just said already existed in anti-Semitic theories of the time. The story of Yakub includes Jews as part of a wider, artificially created white race. Yakub is supposed to be Jacob from the Bible. I think you said that.
Well, no, this that I'm reading does not say that. It says Muslim leader Abu Yusuf Yaqub al-Mansur, who died in January 1199. I don't even know what era you would call that. That's a very long time ago. But you know that like you know at least that like evolution wise that like all humans as we know them today like came from Africa. Like all of our ancestors were African. So like
Yeah, I think there's what's it called? A common ancestor.
a common ancestor. Like I'm pretty sure it's scientific. I know Trey the Explainer might be watching this episode and is like pulling his hair out, listening to me like fumble over this like
Oh, don't
very
make him pull
illogical
his
fact. But
beautiful hair out.
I'm pretty sure that like black people came first. Like there were black people long before there were white people. So I don't know. Kind of interesting.
Well,
Viewers at
that
home, if
is
you'd like
I
to do
don't know
some
if that's
further reading,
I don't know if that's
I
part of the Yakub myth, but I always heard some I think it might be black Israelites say something that like white people were like a genetic accident or something.
that's interesting. I believe it.
Like along the terms of like how you were saying black people came first and then there
Yeah.
was some sort of like weird mutation, but dude, I don't know how we started getting into race science because I was I was gonna bring up, dude. You know
Cold
those
cuts, baby.
calipers in the
Cold cuts
background?
we're so back. What?
Go get your calipers. Cold cuts is so back. You're right. Let's fucking
Let's
go,
fucking
bro. We need
go.
Yakub on the show. We gotta
Please,
get
can we get
Yakub on the
Yakub?
show.
If anybody has the contact info for Yakub, I would love to
Let
get
us
him on the
know. Let us
show.
know. Dude,
Please.
you got into a bit of a skiff with you know, this term is used in fairy tales, but
Speaking of Yakubian apes.
speaking of
Uh,
Yakubian apes, bro, I was gonna use the phrase, which this is the only time I can use this phrase in earnest, and I think it applies, but you just got into a fight with a wretched creature. A wretched creature
oh
of a
God.
lady. And
There are so many wretched creatures on Twitter, but there's
there
a
really are.
dying breed of wretched creature, which is the kind of like woke scold like teenager. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
this is the
jeez, I
worst
just
wretched
saw
creature.
so much ass crack.
Did you?
Yeah, I really hope that the camera was working. No, no. Oh God.
YouTube episode, baby. I
Anyway,
like the sag, dog.
look at these kitties.
Dude, they call this guy DJ Stinkyheimer.
Dude, they really call him the sandwich. Anyway,
Yes, okay, so you got in this
anyway,
fight with Yakub.
so anyway, yeah, I mean, this particular person, or are we naming names? Do we name names?
I don't think we've named them on the episode before, but we could say this: just go to Harris's timeline. Just go to
Pretty
Harris's
much. I
timeline.
mean, yeah, I intentionally did not name drop them on the,
But I
like
think
on
people
Twitter. I
can tell
didn't
by the
quote tweet them.
quote tweet. Yeah, the quote tweets.
But I think if you check some of the quote tweets, hint, hint, you'll be able to tell who this
But here's
person
the thing:
is.
this isn't the first time we've brought this person up,
No,
right? I've
they're
hated on them
literally
since day one.
oh dude, they're like patient zero for the exact type of Twitter account that I despise. And it's like it's one of those things that like it won't go away. Like this like these terrible miserable I know the word miserable gets thrown around so much on Twitter, and I've had miserable thrown my way like about like the Banksy comic, which I think is unjustified, but like there's really no other way to describe this person. It's just like a horrendous cretin.
A
Like it's
wretched creature.
really that. And every time that they show up in my timeline, which is sporadic because they're frequently bullied off the internet, is because is them being super negative. Like they're extremely profoundly angry, hateful person, and they're field is art. And I think I've been dipping a little bit more. It's always been kind of my MO, but I've been dipping a little bit more into like art discussion on Twitter. It's like something that I'm passionate about. It's something I like to talk about. And so, Twitter is a terrible place for it in that like you're limited to what you can say. And if people just want to latch on to something that's punchy. So there's not a good place to have in-depth conversation about anything. And art, which is so complex and rich, is a terrible place to talk about art. Anyway, basically what happened was should I talk about the breakdown of what
Yes, sir.
happened? Well, basically what happened was that uh
Sorry, my cat was going crazy,
was
dude. My
going
bad.
insane back there. Basically what happened was that was this is the true fact is I was actually going through my iPad because I was running out of space on Procreate. It sucks. I have a 32 gigabyte iPad, and I need to probably get a new one, but I needed to clear up some room because I couldn't like create new projects. So I was like scrolling through some of my older pieces. I also have a lot of just like shit post
I had
material on
totally
there.
missed that piece you posted earlier you found on your iPad. That shit was so funny. The soy jack.
Oh, the soy jack one?
True, dude.
That was the beginning of all of this basically was
How
that I
long
had
ago
drawn
was that?
probably have it. I mean, I have to scroll back to find the timestamp, but it was
But
months
not
ago. I
this
drew it.
year.
I think it was sometime this year, but it was
Oh,
like a
okay.
long. No, well, not 2024. It was like
2023.
2023.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sometime over 2023. I drew it, and I'm sure that I made it as I might have posted it in the Discord, and I'm sure I made it as a way of a cathartic way of just like responding to the type of people that I always have in my comments, which is just like, I don't get it. Like, what's the joke? Like. And then even worse is when people are just like, how does this person have a following? Like none of their shit makes any
Do
sense, which I
people
know
say
you,
that to you?
yeah, I mean, I've gotten stuff, not all the time, but I've gotten that. And I know you get that too,
I get
because
that a
your whole
lot, dude.
your whole MO is like to do things that just don't make sense really, or like, you know what I mean? Like some of the, I mean, there's always a nugget of truth in it, but like a lot of your stuff you do is
That's an
intentionally
alt-right talking point,
I
bro.
know it is. A lot of the stuff, a lot of your alt-right talking points are intentionally made to just like make people
I am trying
confused.
to branch out a little bit and do some less schizoid political comics, but we'll see. We'll
I
see.
think
Every
it's good.
time
I
I
think
try
wherever
to, like a week later, I'm back to making insane schizophrenic comics.
I think
I
it's
can't get
okay to
away,
just
dude.
follow the pen, you know what I mean? Like wherever it's going to take you. If I know people know you for your schizo like political comics, which is a funny thing to be known for,
Bro,
but
the OGs know me for my dad POV videos I used to do, which were banger, and
I
I
don't
haven't
remember. I don't even
done.
know that.
Bro, I gotta dig those up, bro. They were literally like my bread and butter when I first started
Dad
Twitter.
POV?
Dad POV. I think I have
Uh,
some on YouTube,
it
but it was
sounds
like
hilarious.
the camera was like like the POV shot, and like I was your dad talking to you or whatever.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. Wait a
Yeah, I was
minute.
also like 500 pounds thinner, which was really dope. That
Just
was
got
the
a
best
reply
part.
from Sir Artwork.
I love Sir. Did he
Very based
comment on
account.
that?
Huh?
What did he comment?
He commented on the drawing in question. He said, "Can you cool it with the personal attacks?" And he just posted this sad little pony.
He's a
Uh,
cool ass dude, bro. I
he's
love that
hilarious.
guy.
He's super funny. And a very good artist. But it's funny because I did see. Okay, so wait, let me finish the timeline. So I posted that soy jack, uh, just because I found it again, and now I knew I could post it and it wasn't out of anger. It was just like I found it and I was like I was kind of cooking with this. This was pretty funny, so I posted it. And then the soy jack meme, maybe we'll splice it in here, but knowing us that will not happen. But but essentially the breakdown is that it's one of these shrieking soy jacks that's like no, like you can't make art without meaning. It has to mean something, like something to that effect, basically. which it kind of went banger mode, which I wasn't really expecting. I kind of was more of a shit post, but shit post, it's funny. Those always
Dude, my
are the
life
ones
is
that
shit post,
it's just
bro.
the things that you don't think about are always the ones that seem to like
Pop
catch
off.
people's eyes, and so that one popped off. And then somebody replied with a very just like a very smart reply, or they were just giving their opinion, but I thought it was, but I think it's very true that they were like I love when artists make something that you can analyze the meaning of, even if the artist themselves does not know what the meaning is. Do you know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
is extremely salient. And I happen to have just recently been watching this Crumb documentary, which I've been really twisting your arm to watch. I cannot believe you still haven't seen it.
Dude, I just
It's
don't support rapists, dude.
Wait, we got to get into that too. But the man is not. The man is okay. That was the accusation. So hang on, I'm gonna get to that in 2 seconds. Let me just catch
I
up the
ruined the
story.
timing. Catch up, catch up.
So somebody said that, and I quote tweeted them with a clip from the Crumb documentary, which I have the documentary on my computer because I had just been watching it. So I just clipped this moment where R. Crumb, who, if you guys don't know who that is, he is a comic artist. He's a very a prolific, talented artist, and he's also a total creep. I mean, an absolutely like in a lot of ways just vile, despicable human, but also uh I mean just a phenomenal artist in my opinion. I think somebody who's just been very like influential and an important figure, I think, in the scene of comics because comics are a lot of like, superheroes running around in spandex and have like a happy ending, and he's somebody who really draws some of like the darkest ids of the human mind, and he's very good at it, and he's also very technically talented. The documentary gets into all this and a lot more. I don't want to spoil anything. I would love to
Dude,
do a
sorry,
watch
my
party
cats
with
are
the
misbehaving.
patrons.
Did you say Crumb, he makes superhero comics? Or he
No, no,
hated
I'm
them?
saying in a world where like super comics are like commonly considered like what the mainstream is puts out, like comic superheroes and stuff, which are the big sellers. I think it's really valuable, especially you got to think Crumb is not a new artist. I mean, his stuff was popping off in like the 70s and 80s and so, around there, and like maybe even late 60s, honestly, but he I think he's a really important figure. He draws a very dark part of the human mind very clearly, and you can analyze it in ways that I think like you can be like, wow, the guy who drew this is a certified fucked up little freak, but like damn, like this is really it's an interesting work to analyze. I think he's a very interesting character and a lot of like I mean, how old is the conversation of it's like, do you guys separate art from the artist? It's like, are we really still doing this? Like, can you use more than one brain cell at at a time? Like, someone can absolutely be an incredible artist. I mean, even to simplify it to something that's really recent and easy to latch onto, it's like Kanye West is a really good example because I think like he he is somebody who is too honest in his music. I think to a fault, he's honest and honest in his personal life. And I think he's terrible. I think especially what he did over the year of 2023. I honestly like I hate Kanye. Like I really don't even use that lightly. I really think that he like
Devil's advocate, though, do you think he was really saying that shit, or do you think he was having a mental breakdown?
I think he was having a mental breakdown, but there's a lot of people who are mentally unwell that and it doesn't excuse the fact that like he introduced a really basic concept of anti-Semitism to a lot of impressionable, unintelligent fans and like who didn't think about it before and who idolize him and who think that maybe there's a nugget of truth to what he's saying. You know what I mean? Which is
You've used
horrifying
that
to think about.
phrase way too much this episode, dude.
I know, sorry.
You said the phrase
I
nugget of
learned it
truth.
from you, but but anyway, but so
When did I use that? Oh, with the alt
you
right
said it. There's a
talking
nugget of
point.
truth in every alt-right talking point. So anyway,
Oh my
Kanye.
god, dude.
But meanwhile, some of my favorite uh some of my favorite songs, I think, of all time are Kanye West songs. He's an unbelievable
His music
producer.
slaps,
He
dude.
does a lot of really, he's also made a lot of schlock. He's also
Yeah.
made a lot of garbage. I don't think he's a 10 out of 10. I don't even know if he's put out a 10 out of 10 album. I think all of his albums have some dog shit on them, but his career, it's impossible to deny how influential, how how intelligent as an artist he was in his prime. And maybe we will get some good material out of him again, but I don't like him, but I can also separate that. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
I'll be real. I love his music. There hasn't been a banger full album, in my opinion, since I don't even know if I'd say Life of Pablo was a banger full album.
No, there's great songs on it, but it's not a full banger album. There's a lot of skip tracks on there. I think there's skip tracks on even the
Is
one
My
that people
Beautiful Dark Fantasy the last
I
full?
think I think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is the one that people point to and they're like, there are no skippable tracks. Please, please be
Which
real.
track
Please.
do you think is skippable?
There's absolutely skippable tracks on there.
There's
I don't
no way. I'll
yeah,
pull
there's
up
a
the
few
track list right now.
dude. There's less than usual on his usual thing, but I'll tell you right now, here are the ones that I don't like, okay? I think All of the Lights is not a good song. I don't like that one.
It
That
ain't
beep
it's
beep
not
beep beep
skippable
beep
though.
beep 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 beep. I think if he left it off, wouldn't have hurt. I don't like So Appalled. I think after Monster, it's really similar. Uh,
It's just not as good as
it's not
Monster.
as good as Monster, and and Monster has a lot of the same like features and vibe, and I think he could have just done one or the other. I don't
Devil
love
in a
Hell of
New
a
Dress
Life.
slaps.
Devil in a New Dress is one of my all-time favorite songs, period. I think
Yes,
it's like
thank
an
you, thank you.
unbelievably good song. And that's what I mean. I love Runaway. I love Lost in the World. I love Gorgeous. I mean, there's like amazing songs on here, but it's not 10
Power's
out of
great
10.
too, but to me as like
Power's great.
a super anthem, it's not my favorite one. Like I much prefer Gold Digger.
Yeah, no, I think look, Kanye, amazing artist. R. Crumb, amazing artist. Vile People, Terrible Beliefs,
Yo,
probably. What's up?
sorry, I totally just remembered. I think Yeezus is unskippable.
Unskippable.
Pull that track list up, bro. Cause
My
I,
problem
dude,
is with my problem with Yeezus, honestly, is a lot of it is a little samey sounding. Like that's kind of my. But you're right. I don't really
I can't
dislike any of
name
these
one
songs.
fucking. Literally, the only bad track in here, and it's not even skippable, is "I'm in It."
But he was also just ripping off Death Grips. I think this is literally
Was
like
he?
you literally you know how you talk about how Skyrim is like Dark Souls for baby monkeys. Like
Yeah,
Yeezus is Death Grips for like
I've
babies.
never
Like if you
listened to Death Grips.
Death Grips
Does their shit
clears
sound like
Yeezus.
this?
Yeah, it does, and it's
I thought
better,
they
I
played
think.
like rock music.
Dude, they're awesome. I mean, Death Grips, like if you just want to listen to the Money Store, which is definitely their most accessible, it's like actually catchy. They have some stuff that's properly like borderline unlistenable, but this album, you want to talk about unskippable tracks? Money Store is it's up there. That's an amazing fucking album. Hustle Bones is crazy. Hacker, talk about some of my favorite songs of all time. Yeah, Death Grips is great. But anyway, okay, enough about music. So anyway, the let's
Oh,
get
did we
back
even
to
finish the story
no,
about
we
this
didn't even get
fucking?
through it. So anyway,
We're
all this
so
is
back, dude.
we're
Okay,
so
let's go.
back. All this is to say, any criticisms that people want to throw at Art Crumb, I mean, I'm not really going to come to his defense. That's I think the whole point is that you have to look at the full picture of an artist, especially ones that are really good. I think it's actually good to kind of analyze even how we're talking about Kanye. It's like, well, he's mentally ill, and that's something he talks about. You know what I mean? He talks about he's like addicted to drugs and sex and like he talks about that like frankly in his songs. He's not a well person and he's also got a very public life, so we just know a lot about him and he's an eccentric character. Same way Michael Jackson was an eccentric character. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these people are
I
interesting
wouldn't
to
say the
analyze.
same way that Michael Jackson was.
No, but I think there's a lot of parallels you could draw. Like I think that
No, I
like
think you're right too. Because didn't they used to compare him? No, they'd
I
always
think
compare him to the
Kanye tr
Beatles.
well, who?
Didn't they always compare Kanye to the Beatles?
No, I think Kanye like has leveraged the comparison to Michael Jackson himself. Like he has said that
But
he's
he
like
does
Michael
drop a
Jackson.
bar. What's because I swear, like
Oh, what's a
Pitchfork or
Black
something.
Beetle anyway?
Yeah, I swear Pitchfork called him like the Black Beetle or something, which is
Black Beatles,
retarded. But
yeah. I don't know. I don't know that exact quote, but yeah, I could see that probably too. And yeah, I know he goes, "What's a black beetle anyway? A
a
fucking
fucking
roach.
roach.
I guess
That's
that's
why they
why they
got me
got me
sitting
sitting in
here
the
in
fucking
fucking
coach."
coach.
A bar.
Some
I
of
don't
his
really know
bars
what
are
he.
fresh, but then if you analyze it like that, it's kind of like, oh,
Well, it's
that's
like
kind of like
what's he saying in
gay
that line?
baby.
He's probably my interpretation is that it's probably like you said, somebody probably compared him to the Beatles, and he probably does not consider himself to be influenced by the Beatles, which is foolish. Obvious, a lot of modern artists are influenced by the Beatles, but like he probably is like, why are you comparing me to these like white guys? Honestly, that's probably what he's saying. Like, how am I a black Beatle? I have nothing to do with these guys. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
which is
And why am I
fair.
in coach?
And why am I a coach? Anyway. So here's what happened. I posted a clip from that R. Crumb documentary, which was basically parroting a lot of what that person had said, which was really clever, which was basically just that Crumb was saying that when he's drawing, he doesn't have conscious messaging usually. Like he has an idea and he's drawing and he doesn't know what it's about, like what is the takeaway until it's done. You know what I mean? Which I think is it's not the method for all artists. There's a lot of artists that have very direct messaging, but a lot of it is really schlocky. And I think it's actually a good way to look at art is like you don't have to have a clear vision of a beginning, middle, and end, or what does this mean, or what is the larger value of this. You don't have to have that. Like usually what happens is that your audience imposes that meaning on it. Yeah, it may
Right.
not be what you intended, but that's sort of the beauty of it. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of art. And my argument also is that even though like I think all art does have meaning, even if it's not intentional. You know what I mean? I don't I think my soy jack was a little misinterpreted in that like people were saying like, yeah, like my art doesn't mean anything. No, no, well, your art does mean something, but people who look at something and they need that instant like, oh, this is by a left-wing comic artist. This is by a right-wing comic artist. This is about black people in America. This is about, whatever, like some stupid whatever. Like that's stupid. Like you should be able to look at art and the other thing that I'll say about meaningless art is like there's such a spectrum of meaningless art. Like you could be looking at some of the most like depraved, insane, surreal fine art paintings, or you could be looking at like bath towel kitsch. You know what I mean? All of those
Yes.
are
Or
meaningless.
bathroom
Like
stall.
right. And like
Sharpie.
meaningless is not an insult. It's like a genre. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really narrow anything down. It's kind of a useless like criticism.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting conversation. I don't get mad at people for having certain art opinions. I like talking art. I would honestly start debating
Dude,
people, but our Twitter
I had a
sucks.
big
So
comic about this whole topic before you
oh
hit the
really? Go
Twitter
ahead.
scene. No, it was just a two panel and it was a guy juggling and there's a
Okay.
guy watching him like and then the next panel he was like grabbing the guy by the chest and going, "But what does it mean?"
Yeah, yeah. Well, the other comic is that one that gets reposted for all the time, which is like, what does this mean? Is it political? I don't
Dude, that's
understand. You know what I
RGC,
mean?
bro. You missed the RGC days. He was one of the
Who is
Stone
that
Toss
guy?
comic guys,
Oh, was he?
and he got permabanned because some chick was like, she was like terribly anorexic but gained weight, and she like looked healthy again, and posted it on
Hmm.
Twitter, and he was like, "You're an ugly fat bitch" or something, and just got perma blown the fuck out. And I was just like, dude, why?
Why
Why?
would you do that?
Why
Why
would
would
you
you do
do
that?
that?
That's hilarious. It's funny that some people do kind of get their like rocks off by like just
Being a
saying mean
dickhead.
things, like being a dick. Because honestly, even after this debacle, because what ended up happening was this person I got quote tweeted and I went to her profile and she made several tweets that was sort of like clowning me or dunking on me for sharing an R. Crumb documentary clip,
Well,
which
because she
is
was saying he was a rapist, right?
because she said, like, you could make this is a mundane point, and somebody who isn't a rapist could probably make this point. Which, by the way, I immediately when I saw that, I Googled just like R. Crumb rapist, and I couldn't find any material to suggest that I don't know what they're talking about. I guess you could just throw the word rapist around, like I like just people, and it's like
Alt-right Harris.
I'm like, I don't really understand why you would say something like that. Like, you could make, that's the thing is like, you can make criticisms. And I knew when I posted the R. Crumb clip that people were going to be like, oh, isn't this guy a misogynist? Isn't this guy racist? Isn't it? Yes, yes, he is.
Is
He
he
is all those
racist?
things. Yeah, he said vile racist things. Like he says, like, he hasn't said it, but in his drawings, he makes like, he had this one character called Angel Food McSpade, who was this like blackface like type like minstrel character, but and he talks about it in this documentary that he wrote the character as a farce of like this like racist, like the racist undertones in society. Like these things do exist in America, these
So
things are
that
like,
doesn't mean he's racist.
no, it doesn't, but you could point to his work, and I guess if you wanted to like make a snap judgment, you could say like, oh, he's
Yeah,
racist.
if you're dumb though.
And what's funny is in this documentary, which is literally, it was made in the 90s, predating this person who was before they were even born. He says, he was like, the only people that lobbied that criticism at me were white liberals. Those were the only people that were coming at me
Dude,
in the
based
thing.
R.
Dude,
Crumb,
Crumb
bro.
is like, I mean, look, I'm not going to stand by everything he's made or done, but the documentary is really, it's like so much of it still rings so true, which is why I
I'll check
said
it out.
it's why I said it was required viewing for artists. You should view it, and it doesn't mean you have to love it, but you should watch it because something will ring, one line at least will ring home. So anyway, this person who I've sort of in the back of my mind been waiting for them to say something at me because I really have not liked them for a while. They're like a micro e-celeb on art Twitter and a lot of
Not
and
even.
like
Well, I guess kinda, but
they're very few. I mean, they have got
their
like a
shit
hand.
sucks so bad though,
They've got
bro.
like a
Like,
handful thousand followers on Twitter. They have a very imitable Adventure Time Cal Arts style art, which is one that I don't really like
but
very
it's so
much.
grotesque. There's something about the way they draw that is so grotesque.
But it's but the thing is, and I'm only saying that because I'm kind of going hater mode on them. I normally wouldn't be somebody to lobby criticism at another artist necessarily, but this person, their whole shtick is being extremely negative and miserable. And they were the same person who sometime last year got bullied offline by uh, I wouldn't say friend of the
Friend of
podcast,
the
but
pod.
acquaintance of the podcast. Chipple Dipple actually, I think, was the one that kind of spearheaded the the harassment
It was
campaign.
over the fucking. There's
The
that
Roald Dahl.
nice, yeah, that Roald Dahl passage, and as soon as I read the reply, I'm like, you're just mad because you're the person in this
You
image
are
that's
the
ugly on the
trollish
inside and
and
outside.
outside. Yeah, and that's the thing is this person is extremely ugly on the inside. I think like if you want to just look at their like Twitter account, it's just first of all, I was scrolling through their shit and they are an obsessive tweeter. Like I mean like tweeting and retweeting, I'm not exaggerating, 50 to 100 times a day. Like you cannot like without stopping. So I knew that, oh my God, this cat. Uh, so I knew that they were going to see this because they quote tweeted me and they were also talking about me and basically calling me like I guess the equivalent of like a film bro, like an idiot, like idiot art bro, basically, which we need more of because I think I'm actually going to go ahead and say like that I I appreciate masculine energy in the art scene because there's not that much of it to you know what I mean? It's a very sensitive scene, and I think that we kind of need some people that are
Dude,
like
and is it so
bros.
offensive that some retard is like, dude, The Wolf of Wall Street is the best movie on earth? Like, is that such a crime that some
Yeah.
film bro thinks that? Leave them alone.
Leave him alone. A lot of that film bro criticism feels tired at this point. Like the same, like Yeah, I like people
But also,
saying
it's
like,
the people I see. First of all, we went to school with a bunch of film bros, and I did dislike a lot of them. But the people who hate film bros the most are always the most pretentious. Like, well, what's your favorite movie? And it's like a Russian film where he's filming a wall for 6 hours and nothing
yeah,
happens. And it's like, bro,
yeah,
shut the fuck up.
shut
I
up.
would much rather watch
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street.
No, I know that shit's really stupid, and I think like I don't know. I think that there will be a return to an appreciation of the bro mentality with some of this stuff because like I don't know, like I definitely feel like there's a really catty attitude online about with all artists. And it's not male, female, non-binary, I don't care. Everybody who I feel like is like a really big artist online is kind of like catty or soft. And I think it's actually I think we need a little bit of there needs to be some rough and tumble characters on the scene because you get people like this person that I'm talking about who has a following of young artists who probably believe every word that she says and are impressionable when in fact if you follow this person's advice you will never have a career, you will never make $1 on art and you will never have a community of other artists because you're too like catty and like pious and
In
like up
Reddit.
your own ass and
In
Reddit.
Reddit, dude.
Like you need to get a grip. And like anyway,
Have
I
they
don't like
commented anymore? I gotta check.
they probably have. I mean, they've tweeted at me multiple times before I even said anything to them directly, and I still didn't say anything to them directly. And if they do tweet at me more, I'm gonna ignore it because the greatest revenge is silence.
No,
I
the
will
greatest revenge is
the
forgiveness.
greatest, yeah, is that what it is? What's the quote? The
Yeah, the
greatest
wise
revenge.
elephant or something. I
Yeah, the
forget what it
greatest
said.
revenge is nothing at all. And so, anyway, but I am extremely pro artists swinging back. And so, when this person said some shit at me, and I know that they're also like an artist with a little bit of a following, and it's somebody that I already actively did not like, and I had to swing back, and so I drew them in their cretinous form, and basically I don't actually know facts about this person, but I all of the things that I put on that drawing are assumptions about them, which I am almost positive are true, which is that
I
they
think most of them.
do you want to read off? Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, dude.
What are the things on there?
Um,
Let's see.
I think you made him angry.
Oh, somebody
Um,
said. Oh, you're reading the comments on the
the
thing?
comments. Oh wow, they laughed at your floor joke, which was very Yellow Wagon Studio inspired.
Oh, I know. I did steal that from you. Sorry, buddy. Um,
The funniest implication is this guy thinks R. Crumb is a good
I did
artist.
see that one, which is hilarious because it's like, yes, you
I
fucking
love, dude.
ignoramus. Arkham
This
is a good artist. Are
this
you
is
dumb?
so funny because the femboy fucking baboon did this to me also, but it's like
Uh-huh.
you blew the fuck out of this person, and I don't think there's nothing in this image that suggests you're mad. You haven't put anything angry, and it's like they're in the comments like, "Yo, you made him so pissed," and it's
Right.
like,
And
bro,
that
I'm
and that's
calling you an idiot. It's like the meme
I'm
of your
literally
the guy who shits his pants and then is like, "Yeah, get
smell
wrecked," and
that?
it's like, bro,
Bro.
triggered. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
it's like and that's also why I didn't quote tweet or tag this person, even though it's clearly a caricature of them. Like I didn't quote tweet or tag them because no free clout. No free clout. I don't like you. I would be doing you a favor, and even me acknowledging their hater tweet at me is like the most important thing that's happened with them in a little while. Somebody else commented on my comic and or my drawing and said like I thought I knew who you were talking about, but this person, I thought that person had left like Twitter a while ago, but I went to go check, and yeah, they actually have returned. They're like back a week ago, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right because they periodically get bullied offline, and be rightfully so because they're super negative and miserable, and then they come back like a month later and they're back to their old ways. It's just like this person's helpless. Like there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I
There's a
mean? And
reason I think Silver Sprocket works with this person. I'll be
wait, bleep
honest.
that. I don't want it. I don't want that coming back around. But yes, that is really. I found that to be really odd, and I think when I noticed that, I was like, "What? Really?" But we have a lot of mutual. I have a lot of mutuals that follow this person, and I'm like, "Oh no, honey, what are you doing? Like,
I'm
why?
telling you, bro, a lot of these people, they're
What are you getting?
cringe, they're
I'm just saying,
clout
like, why?
goblins.
Why are you what are you getting out of following this person? They really
You
rarely
have to
post art.
support LGBB.
No.
You have to report. Yo, I support LGBBWs.
LGBTWs. I think I actually I was prepared if they tried to throw something because this person is trans. My understanding or non-binary. I don't know. They are LGBTQ
You can
plus.
use the F slur on Twitter now. It is
Oh, it's
legal.
legal. Okay. Well, I wasn't going to say it anyway, but I was prepared that if they were like, this is blank phobic, transphobic, I don't know what you would call it. It's like, no, I don't hate you because you're trans. I hate you because you're a horrendous twerp. Like I don't like I don't like you because I don't like you not because of your identity, things you can't control. I don't like you because of the things that you do, the things you can
And because
control.
their pussy stank, bro.
Yeah, that too. That
Hey,
too.
you! This
Hey,
pussy
you, I can
stank!
smell it from here, baby.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's funny that people are like, "Oh boy, you made him angry." Let me tell you guys, never been angry in my life. Not once. Not
Dude,
even
I
one time.
remember when I was arguing with that fucking fruit
Femboy,
bag. Oh, what's up,
who?
giblets?
Giblets.
I was arguing with that femboy, and it was like, they made this huge fuss. I was like, all of the comments supporting him are blue check marks. And like I went and looked, and there was maybe out of 200 comments, there was a single lone blue check mark, and I was just like, dog, give it
Oh
up.
God. It's always that. I just like people like I think this is what I was talking about before is that this is a little bit of a dying breed on Twitter because so many of the people that I don't like on Twitter are not even real people. They're just like bots. Like that's really what it is. So you have to, we're not on Earth very long. You have to cling to the real people around you and
Like
shit on them
this.
when necessary. Look at
You have to
this.
cling to their heads like
He's
this.
literally wanted and he's wanted in 50 states for arson and several violent crimes. Oh my God.
He's going crazy.
Dude, I forgot to mention it to you, but I don't think it's going to be visible on the Kevin podcast that we recorded. But there was one time that you stepped away from the microphone and your cat immediately walked up and was literally like sitting at the microphone, like looking at it. And me and Kevin were like, what the fuck?
Dude,
What
that's
is going on?
awesome.
Dude, is your entire life just getting up from a seat and pulling your cats off of something that they're not
Literally,
supposed to be
yes,
on?
dude. I think he
Uh,
does it, I swear, because dude,
he knows you'll hold him.
he knows I'll hold him, but then he'll always run and do it again. Maybe not this time. Anyway, bro, I am starving. I think we covered a lot of ground here today. This is the race science Yakubian
Okay, here we go.
episode.
I've got the execs right here. Here we go, guys. We freaking love you. I really do appreciate everything that you've given us. Like you are so supportive of us. Oh, I know. Like, I guess I didn't really get to talk about this, but maybe we'll do this on another episode. But I did announce to and publicly and to the patrons also that I've signed with King Features to be a syndicated comic artist through them, which is really exciting. I think it's also going to make the whole Beetle Moses thing a lot more sustainable,
Me
which is
too. I signed
really
with them too.
cool. Yeah, Zach also signed with them. So it's really exciting. And I know I said it in the Discord, but I'll say it again here because it also applies, I think, to everybody who's been watching and sharing our videos and stuff like that and talking about it, being part of the community. Could not have gotten to this point without your support. I never, ever take it for granted that I get to be a full-time artist. The fact that the veil is very thin between the person I want to be and my career is a blessing, and it's all thanks to you guys. Right? Would you say the same?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, in a cooler, like, more manly way, I would
Okay.
say.
Anyway, these are the executives. So you guys you're my extra
By the
special
way, it
twinkling
is
shining
double up
diamonds.
January, so if you haven't doubled your
If you
Patreon
doubled
donation,
up,
don't
doubled
forget
up
to
your
double that up.
Patreon. And also because this is a YouTube episode, if you would like to be part of the community and get access to like damn near 100 bonus episodes, I mean literally like
Hundreds of hours of really good
octillion
shit.
hours of cold cuts content, and also be in the Discord, which we've been talking about a lot here. You can go to
It's a fun time.
patreon.com.
I
Yeah,
also think we're
Can
back.
I say the Patreon? Let me say the Patreon. Patreon.com/cold cuts. Okay, now you can say whatever you were
Also,
gonna
I
say.
think we're back on YouTube episodes. I think
Yeah, no,
that
we're
we're
back
gonna.
on YouTube episodes too, but
This will
for
be
you
the
guys who
first
have
one in a while, though.
it has been, and it's good to be back. And I do, if you guys have been missing the content and you want to sort of catch up on stuff that's been going on since we've tapered off of YouTube, a lot of that is right there waiting for you on the Patreon. So hope to see you there. Anyway, these are the executives: Bugs on my wee wee, Brat
Based.
Brat Pew Pew, Conga Heli, Farancho, Gzan, HP, Limp Dick, Protista, Protagon, Shrek the Third, and Trevor Stilson. Absolutely love you, all of you. Thank you so much for all that you've given, and we'll see you in the next episode. See you in the Discord.
Based.
Sound good?
Based.
Adios.